Hello everyone. Today I'm gonna do a little bit of a showcase of some stuff I've been playing around with. I believe it's pretty interesting, but for various reasons I'm not going to do a tutorial for what I'm about to show you. Mostly because, in all honesty, it kind of sucks. It's not a very good system what I'm about to show you, but also it should hopefully become apparent as I kind of go around and kind of demonstrate the most effective version of it, that it might not be such a good idea to uh, build this at the moment at its best. In particular, what I have to show is a multi-item sorter. Just like any other one, you can really have a pick of what you want, which, if we put this in here, kind of throw it in randomly and turn it on, it will start sorting. So as you can see, we have the detector rail coming in right now. It should be running on that for a while. In fact, what makes this system unique, though, is that it is a minecart system, like a lot of multi-item sorters that are kind of coming out right now. But unlike most systems, it doesn't actually have the minecart going between slices, but is in fact entirely self-contained with each one. And to explain why, mostly is just me trying to find a, I guess you could say, unique way of multi-item sorting. But also, I did do some tests with minecarts earlier that worked, but as I tested them further, kind of wound up to not work. And so this was kind of my answer, and essentially how this works, if I have a hopper here, is that you have your filter chest full of all the different items that you want to filter, and you essentially let a bunch of whatever item you want to sort just kind of fill in this hopper, and when you turn this on, it'll grab it, compare it to a chest, and then dump everything. If there's more than one item, it will push one off to this chest, but at the same time it won't be fast enough for it to pull in the next item down here. As you can see, in fact it's fast enough that you only see one, and that returns it to the chest. However, if you have a non-matching item, because of the fact that you don't have two of it, instead of this hopper pushing it into this chest, it will be immediately pulled down into this one. And because this one goes into the whitelist, that whitelist will be full, and it will then be pulled down into this third hopper here. As you can see, as I was talking, we haven't gone that very far. We're still at 44 items from 64, so about 20 items in like maybe a minute at most. It's not very fast. And what makes it worse is that this is the fastest version of the system. In fact, I started out with a much simpler design, which I believe is this one right here, which, as you can see, there is no redstone. It is entirely just using the fact that we have the feeding stage separate from the filter stage, which is separate from the return stage, which is then separate from it dropping off any spare items, and then this funky arch right here is in fact pulling an item from this hopper and putting it in this one, which made me feel a little bit skeevy about using this as a system, especially because of the fact that when I tried to tile it, it turns out that there is some weird hopper cart interference in the back here, although that may just be a thing pre-minecart update, which is in fact the issue. A lot of this is very highly reliant on how minecarts behave, and for it to be faster, you really need to use cart yeeting, which is one of the things that is largely affected by the experimental snapshots. So, in terms of speed, yes, they aren't going to come out soon, but on the other hand, I think that there is a lot of interesting things that they bring to the table, and it's something that, for the most part, it seems the community is in support of. So, waiting to refine this system to a fast system until we have an idea of what those kind of final changes look like is the best solution for that. In the meantime, though, I did develop a more tiled version. As you can see here, again, it's essentially the same steps. You are pulling a single item, you are then trying to see if you can pull an item to match it, you are then, and I guess this is something I didn't explain before, there are some filter items just to kind of control where things go in the hopper minecart, so you pull those out, and then you pull out your check item, or possibly your final item. You drop off your extras, and then you filter out anything left, and then you re-add the filter items and cycle in again. And just like the first time, this is a working system. If I put some things in here, and then do this. And turn it on, you can see that it is pulling items one at a time, and it's trying to check them up here, in which case we're getting ladders. We have ladders coming down here, and then we have the leftover oak planks, which should come soon, I believe. Huh. Yeah, I don't think I did that in the update before. I did just update to a new version. So, again, very much something that is in the works. If I turn this one off, do try it with the solder system. Let's see, this is rails, I believe. So if I do rails and ladders, and put these in. Make sure it's clear. Turn on. In this case, we are filtering out the rails, theoretically, and if we go up here, we should start seeing those ladders coming in pretty soon. Yep, there we go. So that is kind of the intention of how it works. As I kind of accidentally demonstrated, it is very finicky. But if you do want to make a version of this yourself, the one advantage I do see of it, the one deep core advantage, is that it is entirely redstoneless, ignoring the gold rails. I know that there's people out there that do have ways of getting minecarts to move without powered rails, so I could see this becoming a useful category for multi-item sorting for like runs where you might start in the nether. I have seen a few designs for it, like netherstone, that are more complicated than this, and as far as I can tell, the one instance of a sorting system actually being slower than this one, the fact that this is a categorizer type multi-item sorter, I would say is a nice feature to have of something that does not take redstone. And also, if you might notice, we're entirely out. It's still pulling a filter from the filter chest, but it's not actually breaking. In fact, that is the one other advantage it sort of has, in the sense that it is very hard to break. And also, as you can see, we've got all the detector rails, we have our strips for this log, and we do have our acacia in place. In fact, if we try and peek to see what's going on, do we have anything left? We do. I can actually turn off the system mid-sort. And as you can see, it stopped. We still have items in this section, none in here, none there. I can literally throw in some random piece of junk into the system and it won't break. In fact, let's see, we don't have anything here. If I turn this back on and wait for a bit, we should start seeing those spruce logs starting to appear. Yep, there we go. Stripped oak log. And it kind of similarly reacts in the same way when you have overflow. Essentially, as you back up to here, if there can't be any more items that can fit in this chest, that kind of extra item will be pulled down. Wait a minute. Yeah, it's been a few months since I looked at this, I'm afraid, so some of it has gone out of my mind. Okay, now I do remember. Because if you have two here and it pulls two down, the timing, if I remember correctly, is such, at least on this version, that the extra one will still show up here. I can't remember for certain. If it does go in here, of course, like the minecart is just going to pull extra. It's going to cycle around. The worst thing that would happen is that essentially... Actually, yeah, no, that wouldn't change the minecart because of the fact that it dumps everything. And so then it will have the space to again pull a new item from here, and if that new item happens to be not in this chest, it's still going to cycle through. In fact, we can test what the... We can simulate what would happen with an overflow. So if we break this chest and let this run... Let's see. Got two. As you can see, we are still just getting one item there, and it is just dropping them off along, so this does have overflow potential. I'm not sure that overflow would work with unloading, but you roughly get the gist. I did accidentally leave this world while the system was running at one point, and it still didn't fail, which is pretty good. I wouldn't fully endorse it, though, just because of the fact that it was a one-time thing. I haven't tested this long enough, and I don't play with mods, so I can't really say anything about, like, how it reacts to different types of shutdowns and stuff. I feel like somebody more technical would probably have a better idea of it than me. Let's see, are we done sorting? I believe we are. So if I turn this off again and step through here, I can maybe get a view of the hopper I want. It looks like we are empty. Looks like we are still sorting some acacia. But that is essentially it. One last thing, at least for this version. One thing I do like about it is that because of the way it's shaped, the system doesn't actually tower above the actual storage chests. That's something I think a lot of more modern multi-item sorting systems have kind of lost, is that compactness. But even though you can't really see the filter chests, you can actually aim your crosshair between these two chests and click, and you should be able to see the inside of it. As you can see, that one is done sorting because you don't have any redstone. This one is sorting the acacia, so we're not seeing that, and this one is pulling the acacia there, and it is still flowing in. But yeah, that is pretty much everything I have to show today. If you have any suggestions for how this improvement, how to improve this, sorry, or if you want to play around with this kind of concept yourself, I would highly recommend it. If there's some way that you can make this faster as well, kudos to you. I don't think that this system can really be made any faster without getting to an impractical situation, which I don't think is really what people want. If there are systems, there are systems out there that are already very fast. I don't think that this strategy really would bring anything to the table for fast multi-item sorting. Silly multi-item sorting, though, I do believe this takes the cake. Thank you.